You don't judge a book by its cover, you judge a book by the sound of its pages. And there are the other people who like the new or old book smell. The smell of knowledge. I am, therefore the world is meaningless. What meaning is there in the tragic suffering of a man for whom everything is ultimately nothing and whose only law in this world is agony? If the world tolerates somebody like me, this can only mean that the blots on the so-called sum of life are so large that in time they will obscure its light. Life's beastliness trampled me underfoot and oppressed me, clipped my wings in full flight, and stole all my rightful joys. The enthusiastic zeal and mad passion I put into becoming a brilliant individual, the demonic charm I adopted to gain an aura in the future, and the energy I spent on an organic, glamorous inner rebirth, all proved weaker than the beastly brutality and irrationality of this world, which poured into me all its reserves of negativity and poison. Life is impossible at high temperatures. That's why I have reached the conclusion that anguished people whose inner dynamism is so intense that it reaches paroxysm, and who cannot accept normal temperatures, are doomed to fall. The destruction of those who live unusual lives is an aspect of life's demonism, but it is also an aspect of its insufficiency, which explains why life is the privilege of mediocre people. Only mediocrities live at life's normal temperature. The others are consumed at temperatures at which life cannot endure, at which they can barely breathe. Already 1 foot beyond life, I cannot contribute anything to this world because I only have one method: agony. You complain that people are mean, vengeful, ungrateful, and hypocritical? I propose the agony method to rid you of all these imperfections. Apply it to every generation, and its effects will soon be evident. Maybe in this way, I too could become useful to mankind. I warrant you that the effect is incomparably greater than any obtained through normal means. If I could, I would drive the entire world to agony to achieve a radical purification of life. I would set a fire burning insidiously at the roots of life, not to destroy them, but to give them a new and different sap, a new heat. The fire I would set to the world would not bring ruin, but cosmic transfiguration. In this way, life would adjust to higher temperatures and would cease to be an environment propitious to mediocrity. And maybe in this dream, death too would cease to be imminent in life. These lines written today, April 8, 1933, when I turned 22. It is strange to think that I am already a specialist in the question of death. That's the brilliant, although bleak, Emile Cioran. Bleak might be an understatement. Anyway, we have a great show for you today. So my producer was telling me that I needed to take some actions to get a bit more views on this show. So what you do in a day? Well, I like to start my day by having a nice full meal, eating with Robin. So good. And of course, watching the West Point Military Academy graduation, class of 2020, with President Cheeto. Establishing discontinuities is not an easy task even for history in general, and it is certainly even less so for the history of thought. We may wish to draw a dividing line, but any limit we set may perhaps be no more than an arbitrary division made in a constantly mobile whole. We may wish to mark off a period, but have we the right to establish symmetrical breaks at 2 points in time in order to give an appearance of continuity and unity to the system we place between them? Where, in that case, would the cause of its existence lie? Or that of its subsequent disappearance and fall? What rule could it be obeying by both its existence and its disappearance? If it contains a principle of coherence within itself, whence could come the foreign element capable of rebutting it? How can a thought melt away before anything other than itself? Generally speaking, what does it mean no longer being able to think a certain thought, or to introduce a new thought. Discontinuity, the fact that within the space of a few years a culture sometimes ceases to think as it had been thinking up till then and begins to think other things in a new way, probably begins with an erosion from outside. Ultimately, the problem that presents itself is that of the relations between thought and culture. Bum, 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 bum. It's important to have a balanced meal, so I like to balance it out with Nat Res Bakery fig bars. This is the raspberry. So yeah, as I like to balance my meal. I open the pack. I like to tear it down the center seam to have unrestrained access to it and make like a little plate. Been thinking about transforming the ethos and the MO of Reading with Robin into a channel of wellness and well-being and yogi practices, of which I am, of course, an expert. Yeah, just like giving you some nice breathing exercises, which I think can kind of help. Sometimes just gotta remember to breathe, like breathe in, let it go, and breathe in, and let it go. Much better. I don't know, what do you think? Nice little wellness channel. I don't think there are enough of those out there on the YouTubes. Yeah, I think I'd be filling in a very nice niche. Have this cocktail shaker. It's quite heavy, brass. Got a plant. If you dive into the world of modular synthesis on the web, there's a big trend towards putting modular synths and plants together because they're like organic. I mean, it's always nice to have plants no matter what. This cross up here, some people have expressed concern and have asked, are you a Christian or a Catholic or what's up with that? But if you look over here, there's also a devil, weird death mask. And over here, there's some pagan creatures. And here's a little Mexican dog, Billy Joe toys. But anyway, say no, we're not Christian on this show. As some of you may know, I'm a jack of many trades, and I'm also an archaeologist, anthropologist. So no need to worry, I won't be espousing any kind of Christian dogma here, other than try to be kind to one another. Yeah, and let's check in with my good friend and producer, Dr. Michael Coffey, see what he's up to in the crazy French provinces.
Hey, Michael Coffey speaking. You're watching Reading with Robin. The brilliant host of our fantastic little show asked me to produce some content on the subject matter of deep state and wellness. Of course, very interesting topic. However, unfortunately, I don't have any time at the moment whatsoever.
Characters on stage should be flat, like clothes in a fashion show. What you get should be no more than what you see. Psychological realism is repulsive because it allows us to escape unpalatable reality by taking shelter in the luxuriousness of personality, losing ourselves in the depth of an individual character. The writer's task is to block this maneuver, to chase us off to a point from which we can view the horror with a dispassionate eye.
Hey man, I'm living like God in France.
I'm living like God in France.
Welcome back, everybody. We're back. Hi guys, and welcome to Channel Tatum. Today, ice cream reviews. Cheers. So, we're gonna judge the consistency, the taste,
It's very consistent.
the wind resistance. So yeah, what did you get?
I got like some ochre thing, like ochre brown and some darker brown. This one here is with pistachio,
Yeah.
and the other one I think with nougat.
Yellowish, waxy color, darker brownish material.
Is it nougat too?
Let me find out.
That's not nougat, right?
No, I don't know what that is.
The color, I have to say, not very happy about it.
I wonder if I should have, probably should have had the phone this way. I wonder if it changes anything. Fix it in post. Yeah.
Really not a very appetizing color here.
If we judge colors, but other than that, I'm quite enjoying this.
Taste is excellent. Consistency is also, it's a bit too liquid.
I don't know if the wind is playing a factor right now.
I think it's almost reacting to the climate around us, to the weather. You know, it feels like because it's a bit warm and there's wind, it melts fast.
That's often a problem with ice cream. Yeah. Like it's reacting to the environment, and it makes it a bit annoying.
If you ate this in the winter.
Like this world of douchebags, ice cream can be super cold. But with some pretty sprinkles, you can sprinkle it with whole chocolate and vanilla. Now let's start to get along. You mix up all the flavors, we're all singing the same song. You mix up all the flavors, we're all singing the same song. You mix up all the flavors, we're all singing the same song. Rum, raisin and Nutella, 42 banana splits. A cone, a cup, a mouthful, the ice cream boys drop hits. A cone, a cup, a mouthful, the ice cream boys drop hits. A cone, a cup, a mouthful, the ice cream boys drop hits.